Engines.
Oh, welcome to Mid-Ohio. It's the 11th round of the Indy Car World Series and things are hotting up, so stay with us for a lot of action this weekend.
The peace of rural Lexington in the Midwest of America is interrupted each year when the Indy cars stop at Mid-Ohio. Manson will start on the grid in 4th place as the fastest loader in the field. He was fast, but not fast enough. The Penske steamroller continues with a 1-2-3 at the front of the grid. Qualifying on Saturday ruled out by rain, so the times set on Friday stand. Al Unser Jr. is sitting in the number 1 slot. He's done so 3 times already this year and won on each occasion at the Indy 500 and here in Portland.
Al Unser Jr. from the pole takes the win.
And then at Cleveland, a feat that was becoming all too familiar.
And Al Unser Jr. has taken his 5th win of the year.
5 wins and then no real points in the next 2 races at Toronto and Michigan. Alongside Al, Paul Tracy looking for his 2nd win of the '94 season. And Emerson Fittipaldi hoping to make it 3 in a row at Mid-Ohio. In '92, he beat Paul into 2nd place and Al into 3rd.
Emerson Fittipaldi takes his 17th career win.
A victory he repeated a year later.
Fittipaldi takes the win and closes in on the championship fight.
Making his IndyCar debut at Mid-Ohio in 1993 was Mauricio Gugelmin. He starts today as the fastest Reynard on the grid in 5th place. As we prepare to go green, it's Al Unser leading from Tracy, Emerson and Mansell, with Gugelmin, Villeneuve and Rahal hot on their heels. We join our ABC commentators Jack Arute, Gary Gerald, Sam Posey, Bobby Unser and Paul Page.
And we're underway as they stream down into the first turn, starting actually over on the back straightaway. And Al Unser Jr., the pole sitter here, forges ahead to the lead. The Penske cars, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd as they qualified. The rest of the field flows through. I'm Paul Page with Sam Posey and Bobby Unser. In the pits will be Jack Arute and Gary Gerald today as we have a nice long afternoon here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course ahead. Qualifying yesterday was all but rained out. Qualifying times were taken from the run on Friday, and as a result, Al Unser Jr. took the pole, but as you can see, Paul Tracy snatched the pole away from him as they come to the first complete lap of competition.
Tracy was sick on both Friday and Saturday. He told me this morning he felt much better. Obviously, it's showing in his performance.
So Paul Tracy now leads his teammate Al Unser Jr. as they've completed what is scoring at the first lap, starting over on the long straight, coming out of the keyhole here. This course is 2.25 miles around, 13 turns.
And also keep in mind, Paul and Sam, that qualification with Penske cars, 1, 2, 3, Little Al, Paul Tracy, and Emerson Fittipaldi, and theirs.
Parker Johnstone, as he slides, he's one of the 3 Honda entries here, and he's off the course and looks like some damage may have occurred to the left front on that car. So now the 3 laps in competition are complete. Paul Tracy is the leader, followed by Little Al, then Emerson Fittipaldi. In 4th place is Nigel Mansell, the number 1 car. You see him there. Mauricio Gugelmin, who expects a good day, currently runs in 5th place. In 6th is Michael Andretti, then Robbie Gordon, Bobby Rahal, Jacques Villeneuve, and Jimmy Vasser rounds out the top 10.
Mansell, of course, winless this year after 2 of the greatest seasons, certainly back-to-back, any racing driver in history has ever enjoyed.
The battle on the course right now is for 5th place. It's between this car, the 88 car, Mauricio Gugelmin, and Michael Andretti. You ride on board with Michael now. That's Gugelmin just ahead, down the long straight, and winding downhill on some of the elevation changes that makes this track have so much character and is so popular with the drivers.
Gugelmin, of course, made his debut in IndyCar racing in this race last year. Interestingly, they both drive Reynard cars. Theoretically, Michael Andretti, the lead driver for the Menard pairing going for Chip Ganassi, but he's trailing his teammate right now.
That's been happening pretty much all year long. On the most cases, Gugelmin has been faster than Michael, and both owned by the same people, but operate as two different teams, so one has to wonder sometimes, does Gugelmin have better mechanics than Michael does?
Well, but Michael's been the one that's been able to win the races, 2 of them so far, and he's 3rd in the championship.
Whoa, several cars off.
Mike Groff,
that's Mike Groff and Scott Goodyear, the winner of the Michigan 500 as well, and they have dug in deeply into the sand trap that is designed to slow them down when they come off. They were in a battle for 12th, just behind Adrian Fernandez. Now here it is again. You see Fernandez has already come through. Groff and Goodyear into the corner.
And Goodyear's in there too deep. He's trying not to hit Groff. He hits him, raised Groff's rear end, clear off the ground, drove underneath him. Of course, spun both cars out and the stand trap.
During the first round of pit stops, Emerson Fittipaldi briefly took the lead. As we rejoin the race, Paul Tracy is once again at the front of the field.
Al Unser Jr. closes right down on his teammate, the leader of the race, Paul Tracy. They flash down the pit straight, and Paul Tracy is trying to signal Adrian Fernandez, who started 14th and now runs in 8th, and is just ahead of him on the course, that he's there and get out of his way. He's apparently somewhat worried by the presence of Little Al just behind him. Look at Tracy. Oh, they're very close together. Tracy gets under. Al Unser Jr. gets caught. Fernandez apparently unaware of the position of Little Al.
That was a brilliant but daring move by Paul Tracy. Now Little Al has got to follow suit if he's going to stay in touch. As they approach the end of that long straight, here they come.
Well, Adrian will have a lot more notice there. Little Al is coming by because of the fact that Tracy just came by, but I don't think Adrian saw him coming up in his mirrors. I think that was totally unexpected.
Look at that line as they head through the first turn at the end of the pit straight now.
Now, you notice Little Al's really putting the pressure on. Remember, he's trying to box Tracy in. Any place that Tracy goes, he wants to box
Here
him
comes Gordon again, right alongside Gugelmin, forces Gugelmin offline into the outside, and Tracy and Little Al come through as well. Now Little Al sets up to make a move on Paul Tracy. He's tucked in right behind. He goes to the inside this time. Now Little Al sweeps to the outside on the corner, and Paul Tracy takes the inside line.
Now the next turn is to the left, so if you can get to the left of your adversary, you can get him on the next bend.
Now this is sometimes, remember, what makes passing easy.
Gordon makes the move on Nigel Mansell now. They come off the corner side by side, and Robbie Gordon has the line and the position there. But here is Paul Tracy as he screams down behind Nigel Mansell, who now runs in 4th place.
It's awesome. Just think, he's absolutely lapping Mansell. This is something we hardly ever see.
And Mansell pulled well aside. A terrific moment for Gordon because having gone from dueling with Mansell, he's now a 1.5 seconds ahead of him.
You ride with Robbie Gordon, who's had more than a thrilling afternoon just a few moments ago. Look at him as they're coming through here.
Boy, he almost spun that thing out. You see the rear end? Must have jumped out 3 feet on him right there. Almost lost it. That kid drives all the time.
Here it is in slow motion. The safety team trying to get
Watch him
tail
on the right
Bobby
there.
off. Look at Robbie.
Watch there. Brake too much of the rear. The rear end jumped way out. Left a big black rubber mark. And still only lost 1 position to Paul Tracy, who's on his right, the red and white car there.
The Ray Hall Hogan team has more trouble. Mike Croft has pulled to a stop just inside the carousel. Apparently his day is done. No indication what went wrong with this car to get it off the race course. Back on board with Robbie Gordon now. And we'll go down through the running order after 53 laps. Paul Tracy continues to be the power in this race.
And Robbie Gordon officially should have gone down 1 lap right there, Paul, which is something he really didn't want to do.
Let's go to the pits and Jack Arute.
Well, even if you're being lapped, gentlemen, you don't like to be lapped under the caution, and that seems to be your complaint, Derek Walker, about the leader.
Well, from the television coverage there, we can see he passed under that yellow flag.
He being Paul Tracy, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a stop and go. I don't know why they haven't brought him in.
We don't know either, but they have talked to the card officials, and it's got to be their call, as you know.
Michael Andretti now closing on Fernandez, a battle for 6th place. Indications are that the officials have now decided that they will give a stop-and-go penalty to the leader of the race, Paul Tracy, and also to Mario Andretti. So that coming down the lines from the officials in race control. Michael just got in contact there. Boy, look at Michael lose it all the way. There's that black flag ordering Paul Tracy to come into the pits for a stop-and-go penalty. He has 3.8 seconds on the second place car of Al Unser Jr. So when he comes in, he will lose the lead. What do you think, Bobby?
Yes, I think first place, I think it's wrong, but by the same token, it's really going to hurt Paul an awful lot. If the officials see it that way, it was a marginal thing at the best. So if it happens that way, he'll just be screaming like heck when the race is over.
What a difference a year makes. Last year, Paul Tracy won 5 races and Al Unser Jr. only 1. This year, Al Unser has won 5 and Paul Tracy only 1.
Well, Paul Tracy, and what I think, Bobby, you viewed as he did everything he could to slow down and keep from passing Robbie. Now they're waiting for him to come into the pits answering the black flag, Gary Gerald. Gary?
Paul, they've laid out for him. Emerson Fittipaldi just completed his stop in 14.6 seconds. They made no changes to the setup on the race car. But Tracy, they're going to service him, and I'm wondering, can you do this on a stop and go? Can this serve as a full pit
No,
stop?
you remember that was the controversy a year ago in Australia. Nigel Mansell did it, Gary.
Yeah, well, here's Tracy now, and they are giving him the service.
Oh, you watch the smoke off his brakes, Gary.
Now, will they hold him or will they make him send him out and bring him back? That's what I'm wondering right now. Clive Howell is up on the wall talking on the radio to Tracy as they wait for the fueling to be complete. Now he's rolling. Boy, did he smoke with tires getting out of there. Let's go to Jack.
Gary, we checked with Billy Camphausen as we await Robbie Gordon's pit stop. Now, here's what Unser has a choice to do. I mean, Tracy, he must take his service, but now he has 3 laps to come back in and take his stop and go. This is from Indy Car official Billy Camphausen.
And Jack Arute, Michael Andretti now comes in to make his stop.
And we'll wait and see if Michael has the same problem with the rear jack that he had the last time. It took a long time for the air to come out. It seems to be a nominal stop right now, cleaning off the front radiators, taking on a full load of fuel. We'll watch the onboard jacks to see if they operate correctly this time. They do. And he's away.
Well, if you wanted to watch the onboard jacks at the rear of the car, that camera was well placed.
What a camera.
So Michael Andretti in and out from 6th position.
You see what they're doing? They're taking their tear-offs off their visors when they leave the pit.
Here's the leader in. Gary Gerald's there.
There's little Al tearing his off.
In the very first pit box, he ducks in very tightly, and then he'll go up the road. He, of course, cannot exceed that 80-mile-per-hour speed limit. They changed the engine on this car after the morning warm-up session. There was a telltale warning sign. He's away in under 15 seconds.
Little Al on the roll. Fittipaldi, you see, coming in behind him. There comes Robbie Gordon screaming out as well. Any time now, Paul Tracy is going to have to react to that black flag.
Now remember, Robbie Gordon comes down 1 lap behind Little Al. That's the reason he was trying so hard a while ago not to get left. But when they leave the pits, for example, Little Al right there, as we saw, it won't go over like 80 miles an hour because they have the onboard computers on the car set where the engine won't run any faster than that. That's modern science coming at us again.
So Paul Tracy, at the same time that Little Al comes in, acknowledges the black flag. He is in and out. He's taken the penalty. But Al Unser Jr. takes the advantage by a full 10 seconds over Tracy and picks up the lead of the race. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio, where we rejoin the race on lap 66 under a full course yellow, with Roger Penske savouring the prospect of a possible clean sweep for his 3-car team. As we go back to green, Unser is still leading, with Tracy second and Fittipaldi third.
We're back to racing, green flag, and Paul Tracy is very much a man with a purpose. He's got 2 cars, Robbie Gordon and Stefan Johansson between him and the leader of the race, Al Unser Jr. Back on board with Gordon. Gordon runs in 4th place. The Penske cars are 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Unser Jr., Tracy, and Fittipaldi.
Now the red and the blue car, Stefan Johansson. That car, for example, doesn't have springs on it. Another change I might mention. Right there, right at the center of the screen, red and blue car. That car uses air shocks only. Air and liquid, of course, for the hydraulic part to make the shock absorber. The car rides on air. Something that was done many years ago. It's coming back in.
Well, those who follow the racing fortunes of these teams on scanners have been getting an earful from Roger Penske, talking with Junior a lot as they try to protect the lead, advising him to watch it, go carefully, watch the downshifting. Now with 5 laps to go, we understand he was just given the message, he being Unser, it's your own race, go for it. So now they've just pulled out all the stops, and he's looking awful strong, isn't he?
Paul Tracy very definitely not in pursuit, 7.5 seconds behind.
Yeah, little Al's also smart enough to know that he's not going to try to make 9 seconds out of a 7-point-something seconds gap. He doesn't need it. He just wants to win. Ironically, he's really after the points battle more than I've ever seen him in my life.
Let's go back. Nigel Mansell runs in 7th place. Raul Boisel is closing on Mansell. Battle of the Lolas here. Mansell, who qualified almost a full second quicker than any other Lola in the field.
Now, we've talked about Dick Simon, who owns the Boesel car, and how he doesn't have the support, perhaps financially or otherwise, that Mansell has with the factory Lola and the factory help from Ford. What satisfaction it would be for Simon and his team if they could pass Mansell right now in the waning stages of this race.
There's probably 2.5 times the difference in the budget between the car in front, Nigel Mansell's, and Boisel's with the Dick Simon team right there. They operate probably with about, I would say, maximum 3.5 million, maybe 4 million a year in Boisel's car, the little gold-colored car there. Mansell, on the other hand, you could either double or triple it, and you'd probably still be way under it, Sam.
Not mentioning paying Nigel's salary.
Well, Nigel's salary, for example, would be more than Boisel's or Dick Simon's budget for the entire year. That's the ironic difference between these things.
For an update on Nigel Mansell, here's Jack.
Well, it's not been a great day for Nigel Mansell. From the start of the race, he complained about the handling of the car. He's been battling a severe understeer throughout the course of the afternoon. Just a couple of laps ago, he radioed in. He said he felt like the car felt 10 pounds heavier than he'd ever driven before. Don't know if maybe, Sam, maybe when he was out there racing with his kids, did he have a little extra ice cream?
Oh, well, he had one of the kids with him. Maybe she's riding with him again now.
3 laps to go now for the leader of the race, Al Unser Jr., the Penske cars, Junior, Tracy, Fittipaldi, the only ones on the lead lap.
You can just watch Mansell. When he gets to those real sharp turns like that, he just almost comes to a stop. And that's, of course, how Boisel stays up on him so close. The car's a good car. They've just missed on their handling today.
4th place is Robbie Gordon. 5th place is Michael Andretti. They are not in contact with one another. Then Fernandez. And then this battle, Mansell and Boisel. Battle for 7th. Jacques Villeneuve sits behind them in 9th place, and then 10th. There's Jack in 9th place. There's Mario in 10th.
I guess if I had a surprise here, it would have to be Villeneuve. I expected him to be a whole lot faster than he has. And I think it's probably just not figuring out the Mid-Ohio. There he is, Jacques Villeneuve. Very good car, very good driver, and a very good team. And he just hasn't figured out Mid-Ohio road course.
Update on Jack now. Here is Gary Gerald.
Well, one of the problems that they experienced this weekend was the fact that, remember, 2 weeks ago in the race at Michigan, they had the big crash. And so while they were working to repair cars, they missed the test session at Mid-Ohio. That, they felt, really put them behind. So Villeneuve has had a catch-up weekend, all weekend long. And all in all, I think the team was very proud of the fact that he was able to qualify as high on the grid as he did.
That was in 6th, of course, and I think they just missed the setup for the race. That's where their testing hurt them.
Villeneuve's fastest lap at 113 miles an hour. You saw it a moment ago. The fastest lap of the race set by Al Unser Jr. on lap 20 at 117.7 miles an hour. Fortunately, with the EDS scoring system, we can keep track of all of those things for you. Used to be 2 or 3 days after a race when we knew when the fastest lap of the race was.
I was just going to say, Paul, how did we ever get by without the EDS system in the old days? Boy, I mean, we'd have information instantly now.
Paul Tracy is 6.4 seconds behind. Al Unser Jr., the leader of the race.
Computers, of course, everywhere now in the business. Indy Car just did a deal with IBM. It's an electronic world of racing. Used to be a mechanical world. It's changing over to at least a partially electronic world. Al Unser Jr. has finished 8 of the 9 last races he has run at Mid-Ohio.
And he works now on the final lap. The white flag already given by Jim Swintal. And Al Unser Jr. came across the line 5.5 seconds ahead of Paul Tracy. But Paul Tracy at least has him in his sights at the moment. And Al Unser Jr. can't afford to lag too much behind the slower cars that sit ahead of him. Looking for Tracy. Tracy is still well back. Al Unser Jr. has to decide. Does he come around Parker Johnstone and Mark Smith, or does he just stay there?
The finish line is only two turns away from where he is right now, so he'll probably stay where he is.
Al Unser Jr. heading through the carousel now, out of the carousel, and for the checkered flag as Al Unser Jr. scores his 6th win of the season and the 25th win of his career. Al Unser Jr. has taken the run.
And before he climbs out of the car, here's the car owner, Roger Penske, the 3rd Penske sweep this year, 1, 2, 3. Was it the